2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Picking with the Professor, where a history teacher tries to beat Vegas. I do it each week with the help of Raphael Esparza from mybookie.ag. He's the head odds maker. He's trying to give this guy a little nudge in the right direction. And last week we pulled back into 500 after starting out 2-2, going to 1-2. Last week, a 2-1 week for the Professor. We're playing with clean money right now, folks. So let's go ahead and jump into the show and check out what Raphael's got to say about this week's picks. You know, that wasn't the most exciting week of football. Was any games that stood out to you that are indications of, you know, kind of some shakeup in what we need to be considering in the gambling world? In one way, I'm sitting here looking at Indianapolis from last week, but Phillip Rivers didn't play that well either, and they're still winning. Where are you guys seeing? What is interesting? What's the interesting storyline for you?
That's one of the ones. I mean, Indianapolis going in there and not winning on their offense, winning on their defense. So we kind of knew that their defense was above average last year, so that didn't really shock us. But the way they've been playing this year has been very impressive. Another thing that helped us was the Dallas Cowboys losing at home. That's another thing that you have to kind of look at. How many points are the Cowboys going to give up week after week after week? And then one other thing we noticed bettors are they're just afraid to pull the trigger on any under games. It doesn't matter who's playing because they're on a record pace to break the most points scored in an NFL season. So it's been very, very iffy. I mean, and let's face it, Nick Foles really only 11 points that the Bears scored last week.
Yeah, no kidding. In fact, we start with the NFC South games each week, and let's start with that. Tampa Bay goes to Chicago. Right now the line is -4. The over-under 45 in this game. There's no way I'm taking Chicago in this. Give me Tampa Bay -4 all day. I bet that line moves to maybe 5.
We're getting some buyback on the Bears, so I don't think it's going to move to 5 or 3.5. Pretty much, almost a lot of shops. So if it does move, I think it goes to 4, maybe a 4.5. But I don't think it's going to move to a 4.5 because I think the books will be afraid to get middled. But the total has dropped, opened up at 45, down to 44.5. Some places have 44. So I see the bettors again. I couldn't bet an under game right now, and if maybe the Bears will show a little bit more better on offense to score 11 points or more. But I can't see anyone betting Chicago. We're gonna be big Bears fans on Thursday night.
I'm gonna be pulling for Tampa Bay in that one. The Panthers go to Atlanta, the second division game for them of the season. Right now, the Atlanta Falcons are horrendous, and they are favored by 1 point. Right now, you guys have it looks like it changed since I wrote it down even. Right now, it says 54.5 is the over-under here. I'm not messing with this game, as the Panthers have given me plenty of reasons to pick them, and the Falcons have not given me any reason to pick them. They've burned me already, but at the same time, you got to wonder, are they ever going to win? If anything, I would look at the over here, 54. The Panthers have been putting up 25, 30 a game. and we've seen the Falcons' offense produce.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, let's face it, the Falcons unproduced on Monday night, only scoring 16 points, but they were putting up averaging almost 30. I mean, 26 against the Bears, 39 against the boys, but maybe that 39 points against the boys was just the boys' defense. So maybe we have to just throw it to the side. But I agree with you. The Panthers scoring 52 points in 2 games, back-to-back wins. I didn't think they were going to win last week at home against Arizona. So I agree with you. If you're going to touch this game, I think the over might be the best bet on that at 54.5. I couldn't take the Falcons at -2, even though it screams at me to bet the Falcons at -2, because you can figure they're not going to go 0-16.
Yeah, you wouldn't think so. Now, the Los Angeles Chargers, an exciting team, and I've got on my bookie 7.5 dogs going into New Orleans. The over-under 51 here. The Saints defense has not been as good as it was last year. It looks like maybe it's gotten a hair old. I'm not sure what the reason being is. And then Drew Brees continues to dink and dunk. 7.5 points is a lot of points for me, with the Chargers being an exciting team. Justin Herbert liking to push the ball. Again, I mean, are they just begging us to take the over? 51's not a lot of points in this new NFL.
It does, but at the same time, if you're looking to bet the Saints or even bet against them, you need to figure out what the Saints are doing, because right now Louisiana's under a hurricane watch, and it came out today that the Saints might have to evacuate and go practice in Indianapolis for the next 2 days and then come back to play that Monday night game. So how much is that going to take out of them if they have to fly, practice in another city, and then come back and play that Monday night game? So that could take a toll out of things. So if you're looking to bet that game, I would say wait for the news to come out to see what they're doing. Probably we'll find out in the next 24 hours if they have to leave to Indianapolis to go practice. There is some plan that they could go play this game in LA if they need to, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they'll still play it in New Orleans. But if they have to travel to go practice, that has to do something. That could take some toll out of them. So I would say maybe take the plus points on this one.
Jacksonville heads into Houston. Houston's fired their GM and head coach Bill O'Brien, and now I heard an errant tweet. I don't know what the truth and validity behind it was, but that J.J. Watt started essentially a player revolt against Bill O'Brien for just not being a good coach. Man, Jacksonville's got one of my favorite players in Gardner Minshew, +6. Can Houston all of a sudden just turn it on under Romeo Crennel? Will that be the burst? There seemed to be a talented team, but they've been horrendous, and that offensive line is the worst. I'm sitting here looking at Jacksonville, steady as they go each week, +6. I might take it.
Yeah, I can see that, +6. I mean, let's face it, Houston's not only 0-4, but they're 0-4 against the spread, and you said their offensive line is horrible. Now, if they come out and blow Jacksonville away, that'd be funny for all the O'Brien guys that thought maybe he shouldn't have got fired. Maybe they pull one out for the team. That wouldn't surprise me, but I couldn't lay -6.5 or 6 with Houston, depending on what number you get. This one's either a pass for me or just sit back and watch it.
The Colts head into Cleveland, and the Colts, I've been liking this team. I've actually won a little bit with the Colts this year so far. Outside of that Jacksonville game, they've been an interesting team to watch and have covered, I feel like, a couple of times. But the Browns, my question to you is, are they figuring it out? They put up like a 41 points. Yeah, some of it was a little gimmicky against the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is not great, but there's a lot of pieces on that team. A new coach. Are they coming together? Is this the Colts right here? I feel like this is kind of a sucker bet for me. Give me the Cleveland Browns here, +1.5. And actually, I feel terrible saying it.
I want to say take Cleveland. At the same time, I agree with you on that one. But let's face it, the Colts defense has just been outstanding. I mean, was it 29 points in 3 games that they've given up? That's pretty impressive. Have not given up 14 points or more. If Cleveland can't score, that's how they won their games. I mean, their defense has given up 38 to the boys, 20 to Washington. Really, Haskins 30 points to a rookie quarterback, the Bengals. I agree with you. I want to take Cleveland because I like to watch this team. They're fun to watch, but that Indy defense, to me, so far, best defense I've seen so far in the last 3 games.
Oh, I wonder maybe we should start looking at the under, but still 46 is, I feel like I'm not taking any under 54 or 52 at this point in this league. Now,
I agree.
let's see, is there any other cool games on the schedule that are interesting to you? I guess the last would be the Minnesota Vikings heading into Seattle. Seattle only laying, not only, but they're 7-point favorites. The Vikings have been horrendous until this past week. Kirk Cousins sort of came to life. I feel like I don't even want to mess with this game, but I'd still probably take Seattle here despite their defensive problems.
I can see that. I mean, but their defense has given them a lot of points, and one of these days they won't be able to come back if they fall behind. So I want to say take Seattle -7, but I mean the Vikings offense looked like it was on track last week. I think it's way too many points. I'm gonna wait back and see what kind of line movement this happens. I wanted to take the over before the numbers came up, or 57.5.
That's
way too high for me to take this game.
That's really high, and I feel like a lot of people like to bet Vikings as dogs. So I don't know what that does to the line, but I always feel like that's a tempting bet. You're sitting there going, man, 7 points is a lot. Zimmer's a defensive coach. But these Vikings, I just wonder if are they bad or are they good or are they okay? I don't know.
Who knows? That's the $1 million question when you're looking at that team.
I guess that it's all about their running back. Dalvin Cook is a man amongst boys. All right, Raphael, tell them where they can go and lay some cheddar, feel safe about it, and have a good time doing it.
Jump over to mybookie.ag, get that 100% sign-up bonus. A great way to start your weekend with finally a good Thursday night football game with the Bears and Bucks. And then we have all-day action on Saturday with college football, UFC, baseball playoffs, and then Sunday it's all about the NFL. Some great matchups. Hopefully teams will play. Hopefully COVID will stop spreading in the NFL because there's some good matchups coming up. So jump over to mybookie.ag now.
I forgot to ask you, what's your sucker pick this week? Help us avoid it.
My sucker pick in the NFL would probably I want to say it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not sold on the Eagles at all, and I think the Steelers defense is going to get better each week. They had to get some rust out and start playing because I think that could be the best defense in the league. And I said the Colts right now are, but the Steelers are not far behind. So I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, thanks a lot, Rafi. We'll catch up with you next week.
Take it easy. Have a fantastic weekend.
All right, it's time to make our picks. We've looked through the games. We've contemplated how much of an over is truly scary, and the professor's taken 2 overs this week. That's kind of scary as well. We're at 5-5 trying to pull ahead, and these are my picks this week. Bucks -4. I feel good about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Chicago. No fear when it comes to that Chicago defense. Man, Nick Foles, he's not very good. Chicago's not happening. Give me the Bucks -4. Raphael said it was a sucker pick to worry about the Eagles at this point. And while we made a little cheddar on the Eagles last week, Steelers -7 to me sounds good. The Eagles are a mess. And when I say that, it's injuries, and the people who are not injured haven't been playing all that great. The Steelers defense are looking sharp this year. They have some weapons on offense. I'm taking the Steelers -7. My next 2 picks have to do with the points. Carolina goes into Atlanta. I'm taking the over at 54.5. I know, you're wondering, could we take Carolina in this game? They've given us plenty of reasons to take them, and Atlanta has given us none other than the fact of, can they lose every game? We're not sure about it. We've seen their offense put up points. We saw the Carolina Panthers get into the end zone. Give me the 54.5. Now, Jacksonville, a tough game to pick here. Jacksonville goes to Houston. We don't know what Houston's going to look like under Romeo Cornell and the changes that made, but you got to think they're playing for the team. You got to think Deshaun Watson is pretty good, and Gardner Minshew, he ain't that bad. I'm going to take the over Jacksonville at Houston. I'm going to take the over. Jacksonville at Houston. Folks, go ahead and jump into the comments section and let me know what picks you think are the winners this week. Where did I get it right? Where did I get it wrong? What am I missing? I need y'all's help. It's just a history teacher trying to pick against Vegas. Now, go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the C3 Panthers podcast. We're here live every Tuesday night, 9 p.m., chopping up the latest Panthers news and opinions. And check in with us in the post-game show. I'll be letting you know how my bets are going in the post-game. You can call into the C3 Panthers podcast, 252-228-5098. And next week, we'll be back with Picking with the Professor, and we got to be ahead. I hope we're ahead. If we're not, I'm going to need some more help from you guys. Check y'all later.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Is your wallet a little lighter than usual after the holiday season? Consider it money well spent, because you deserve to live your best life. And Chime wants to help you live yours to the fullest. A little extra money goes a long way, which is why the Chime checking account has tons of benefits that millions of members love. Like fee-free overdraft up to $200 for eligible members, no monthly fees, and access to over 60,000 easy-to-find and fee-free ATMs. You even get paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. All while managing your money on the go, including sending and receiving money fee-free with friends that aren't even on Chime. Sign up for Chime today for you and your wallet. Get started at chime.com/goals24. That's chime.com/goals24. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Access to direct deposits up to 2 days early depends on the timing of the submission of the payment file from the payer. Out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply.